she interrupted the video. Anyways, I guess that's a good enough reason. So I went to the Phantom Nightmare, I guess that's what it's called, premiere event, and I took a deck that I'm not very well known for, and that deck is Runick Plunder Patrol. Now you might be thinking, Sean, every video that you've posted of yourself recently, as in for the past few months, has been the Macaco, and before that it was the Live-Twins and Frog. You know, is this the next arc of your anime style journey? And my answer to that is probably not. This is just more of a it's something I wanted to test out for a while. I finally got the Runick stuff and I was thinking of ways to use it. I love Live-Twins, but I just don't like the Runicks with the Live-Twins. I just kind of like Live-Twin with Sprite and a bunch of hand traps. I can't afford the Joe version or the Josh Schmidt version, like Runick Bastille. Also, I don't know if they're that good going forward. And the big problem I had with both of these, I guess, variations was that you get too many dead draws into stuff that you don't exactly want on your opponent's turn, like when you're playing during your opponent's turn. Whereas this deck, every draw feels live. All your starters are extenders. All your extenders work as starters. They're also disruption if you have a plunder ship on the field. So every draw you get is going to be live. The other thought is that there are 9 non-engine spots in this deck, which is more than I've seen for any other version of Runick. So I thought, oh, yay, I get to actually, you know, have room to adjust stuff, take stuff out, to mold my deck without tearing down the things that make it consistent or help you with your plays, which is very useful. And basically, it's just like my ultimate idea, you know, the ideal deck building philosophy that I go for, which is, you know, every card has to have more than one purpose, one use, and you know, you have to be able to make sure that they're live all the time. Oh no, the cat's about to, yeah. Hello, it's good to see you. Anyways, while this is happening, I guess let's get into the deck. So to start off, we have 3 copies of Whitebeard, 3 Golden Hair, 2 Bluebeard, 2 beady eyes, 1 red beard, a shipyard, and a booty. Hello. So these cards are great because, like I said, they work as disruption in your hand if you have a ship on the field, and they all help you play past stuff. This summons from deck. This can summon from hand or graveyard, although both of these lock you into plunders. This can add back from graveyard to hand to summon out, also locks you into plunders. This is a discard and draw, so you draw a lot, and this equips to anything, so it can make your ships live as quick effects if you need them to be, which is pretty cool. I am a fan of that. You know, also the thing with Whitebeard and Redbeard is that they can tag out into ships on your opponent's turn, so if you get them on the field without discarding them, you can use them to get into ships, which helps. This helps with OTKing, because another big thing about this deck is that you have the ability to OTK, you know, just flip a switch, and there you go. It's also a great discard because it's very recursive. If you have any of these in your... Bye, Beggar. The cat's name is Beggar, by the way. If this is in your grave and you have like any of these in your spell and trap zone, you can just add them back to hand to set this in your spell and trap zone. You might think, oh no, that conflicts with Runick Fountain. But the thing is, you're searching Fountain a lot, you're getting it back from the grave, and you don't always need it if you're ready to go in for the kill. Or if you have 11 cards in hand, because you're winning at that point no matter what. Last card is Booty. This helps because it is very recursive. It gets ships back into the extra deck. It gets these back into the deck, and it also summons these out. So like, if say you're playing against a deck that's all lights, like Utopia, you just flip this, make it a dark, summon out one of these, or your Whitebeard, or not Whitebeard, Blackbeard, and then you can get into your ships that way. It also disrupts Kashtira Theosis, which is a very cool play that I've learned, and also makes it very intriguing. But yeah, I like that. It's very cool, and I think these are the correct ratios for the plunder side of things. After that, 3 Ash, 3 Nib, 3 Effect Failure. Like I said, 9 non-engine spots. You know, these are just the hand traps I played, because you can draw into this so much, and it's use all 3 of them if you need to. This is just generically good. Of course, Fire King and the Hida plays, it gets a little suspicious. This is a juicy attribute that you sometimes just need, but you know, yeah, sometimes you need it, but it's worth cutting if you want to play something like Droll or Bell, you know, because those are both going to be pretty good this upcoming format. Still, I feel like nobody really plays around this anymore, so because they're all expecting, oh, Droll, I gotta check out for that. You know, there are some decks where you just, this is bad, so take it out, but for the most part, it's pretty good. Although I don't think I used it once. Actually, no, I used it once. It was usually just discard fodder, but in theory, it works. It works very well. Yeah, so those are the hand traps. Other than that, we have the Runick stuff. 2 Fountain. Then we have 3 of the good ones. I guess right there. And then we have 1 Dispelling, right? A great part about this is because everything is live, you really don't need more than 16 Runick cards. You can bump it up if you want, like, if you want to make it 17. I know that's kind of the standard with everybody else, but it's funny because every time I talk with somebody else and who plays Runick, like Joe or Nate, who did the Live-Twin deck profile a couple months back, they're like, oh, you need to bump those up, you'll never see them. I always see them, because the plunder stuff draws you so much. You are guaranteed to see one of these cards no matter what. The amount of times I've opened up with Fountain and Tip, crazy. And the amount of times I've opened up with none of these, but enough plunder stuff to get into Blackbeard, draw 1, get 1. You know, it's enough. I don't think you're hard pressed to bump this up at any point. And I think this is just a good ratio. Also, interesting thing, I guess. Actually, I'll explain this going into the extra deck, but let me do that real quick. All right. So for the extra deck, we have, not him, but he's there. We have 2 Lice, we have 2 Mork, we have 1 Bran, 1 Jord, 2 Blackbeard, 1 Typhon, a Changing Coral, and then we have some Runick stuff. I'll move that up, and then I'm gonna explain these. Monster Negate and Destroy. It can recur Blackbeard from your Spell and Trap or any other Plunder monster from the Spell and Trap, which is really good for the grind game. It's really good if, like, you use him and then you bring out Blackbeard, haven't used his effect, and are able to go into one of these, because that just means 2 draws, plus 2 forms of disruption. Really good. Mork. It has a card effect protection, which is really good, but you know, I find that you don't hard make this most of the time. You always just make it off of Blackbeard or Redbeard or Whitebeard. But it's very good. It's so useful. It searches you your booty. It searches you your shipyard, which is really good. You know, so that it's very helpful for getting rid of stuff that you don't want destroyed. Speaking of diverting destruction, Bran, this could possibly be brought up to a 2 of in this deck, mostly because of Fire King. And this is pretty good because it's just a discard, target a spell and trap, banish it, and then add a plunder monster to hand. Get rid of the field spell. Oh no, they have no more monsters on field. That's pretty good. They put like an IP in the spell and trap zone. You just use this to get rid of the IP. It's gone. You know, it had. I feel like I didn't play really any Fire King. It feels like this has a lot of potential against that deck in particular. So I've got high hopes for this. I think it will put in a lot of work going forward if you choose to play this deck. Then the last card is Jord. You make Jord so many times. It's recursion. If you keep it, if you use this effect to put it in the pen column, you get a card back from the graveyard. If you keep it on the field and your opponent special summons a monster, you add one to hand and summon one from deck, right? So if you go Blackbeard, summon this, like say they ghost spelled you, so you use that juicy earth attribute, you summon out this off that, you get an add to hand, then you summon out Redbeard or Whitebeard, and then you use those to go into one of these. You know, so you still get the draw off of Blackbeard, but you are still able to get to those, and you add a name to hand. So that's just more cards in your hand. It's very good. Another thing, when you put it into the pendulum column, its pendulum effect is that it returns to the extra deck to, oh geez, you return it to the extra deck in order to give both you and your opponent a token. So it kind of does the same thing that Booty does in terms of if you're playing against an all-fire deck or an all-dark deck, all-light deck, and you want one of the other attributes, you can give your opponent a token to get one of those attributes. And if your opponent doesn't hand trap you, or maybe they use imperm, right? So there's no things on the field, you can just turn one Blackbeard, get a draw, usually with him, summon him back out, and then during opponent's turn you do it again into one of those, and you get yourself a 2 draws. It's just really good. I wouldn't take it out of the deck. It's a mainstay for, I think, forever. After that we have Blackbeard. He's kind of the heart and soul of the deck. I wish I played 3, because there was at least one match, maybe 2, where I thought I just needed a third one. You don't need a third one, that said, but it is useful. It's really helpful. And looking at specifically, I'm going to pull these out. These 2 cards, I didn't make either of them once. I don't think you need them. You're able to cut one of them for a third copy of this guy, and then the other for, I don't know, you can keep it, or like SP or something. I don't know. But yeah, great card. He's just a draw. He gets your engine going. He's a quick effect as well. He doesn't have to target himself. He can target any monster you control and turn it into a plunder ship. I don't know. Really useful. Really like him. After that, we have 2... actually, I'm going to go into the runic stuff first. We have Huggins. 2 Huggins. These are great. You know why they're great. Then we have Gary. I feel like I never summon him. Mostly because people don't get rid of the fountain, or when they do, I already have the second fountain in hand, or I don't know. he just doesn't come up enough. I was worried that I would need a second one in deck in testing, but in practice, he just doesn't come up enough for me to care about it. You're drawing so much anyways that you're bound to get your second fountain, or have enough cards that if you don't have fountain but you have enough runics on the field, and you're like plunder locked, or you don't have any more Huggins, you just set those and they're good enough. You don't need the recursion, because the ships, this lineup is already recursion. Yeah, so that's what I'd say. I'd still keep them, just in the off chance that you do need to recur some stuff. But yeah, that's that. After that, we have the 2 non-archetype cards that we go into all the time. Typhon, for obvious reasons. It's just a board breaker. It helped me beat my friend Rohit, who was on Kashtira. He had Zeus on the field, and I just normal summoned a Black Eyes, went into this, and then it's like, oh no, my turn's done. And then I activated Runic Fountain, and then I activated Flashing Fire to pop, and then I got draw 3. Like, this plus Fountain is good enough. So don't skirt on that. It's good. And then the other one is Coral Dragon. Coral Dragon, when it goes to the grave, is a draw 1. You can make it with any of your Plunder level 4 tuners and Huggins. So it's super accessible. It's also, you can discard a card to pop a card on the field, which is useful. It is coming up before, but not often enough. You're mostly having this for the draw. And my thought was, it's a level 6 tuner. You could use it with another one of your Plunder names or Gary to get into Chang'ing or Baron, which for a while this was Baron, although I cut it for this. That said, I found that I was Plunder locked too often to make Chang'ing. So it'd be like a turn 3 Chang'ing, and it's not like that's a bad thing, right? Chang'ing is epic. You always want to get a Chang'ing out if it's possible. Because against stuff like Fire King or Unchained, it just goes so hard. It goes so hard. It rips the board to shreds. But I just don't have the accessibility to get to him, so he feels like a dead spot. I'm thinking I might cut him. Others Sleipnir. The thought I had was you could do this and Effect Veiler to also get into Chang'ing. But usually when that happened, I felt like it would, I had a Plunder name in hand. It was just better to get into my other engine, get that going, than to just normal summon an Effect Veiler, turn it into Chang'ing and hope for the best. I don't know. Both of these are kind of spotty at the moment. So if you don't want to play either of these, you can find better things like SP and Blackbeard. But, it's whatevs. I guess that's it for the extra deck. Okay, last thing, side deck. That. This is it. This is pretty much the only thing I felt myself siding into, like ever. I think that this side deck needs a lot of work, because when I did this, I expected, I don't know, I didn't have good theory for it. It was just, let me throw in cards that I know are good against decks in the format right now, like Board Breakers. This is good, this is good, this is good, and then this is for time, because that happens in Runic decks a lot. And the thing that I found was that while all of these cards are good individually, they, oh no, I find myself, like, this, and this are all for, like, Fire King, or they're for Labyrinth, but I don't have enough spots to put every single one in and take out the stuff that, that I already have that is made for siding out, right? Like I played against, second place was Chimera Horus, right? This hurts that deck, this hurts that deck, this hurts that deck. But if I'm also going second, I want to play this, and it's just, it makes me think like, okay, I need to get this down and choose which of these cards are the best for those matchups, so I don't have 6 different cards that do the same thing. Because like I said, I just kind of wanted to evenly match when I decided for going second a lot. I went into Droll and Lockbird once, but I found that the rest of my engine is able to put in work, and this also hurts my engine on my opponent's turn. I want to draw, I want to add, I want to be able to build up for the next turn when I have to strike back after setting up, you know. This kind of hurts that. So it feels more like a go second card than a go first card. You know, all that to say that the side deck needs a lot of work, and I am gonna probably figure that out better, you know, before I, you know, talk about this deck again, if I do talk about this deck again. But I want this deck to be better, I guess, and a big part of making that happen is to fix this, because it's just not right yet. All right, I think that said, this has been the deck. It's a long video, I guess, so I'm sorry for anybody who hasn't been here before. This tends to be the case with these. I just talk a lot. I don't have a script, and I don't know when to stop, kind of like right now. Once again, you know, hopefully this is just a small stint in, you know, a deck that I just picked up for an event or two here while I still go back to stuff that I like to play more, like Makanko or Live Twins, or some other very juicy stuff that I have cooking up. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this. Hope you learned a lot from this, if you did learn anything. All that said, you know, stay safe, God bless, and have a good rest of your day.